But confidence or comparison is the enemy of confidence. As we've just seen, is the grass really greener? We will never know if we don't investigate. I did the clicker. Talk about confidence. Can't be confident without it. So I'm on a quest for confidence, and this quest came to me a few years ago. And I believe that many of you will be part of this quest. It's why many people join Rostrum, to find the confidence in speaking, which cannot help but flow into life. Now the enemy is, I've mentioned the enemy is comparison, but the real enemy is fear. And there are three main fears that sit behind our lack of confidence. And often it's the fear of the unknown, fear of failure, and fear of judgment. Have you ever thought, I would love to do that thing if only I had the confidence? I would love to wear a tutu if only I had the confidence. Jo can pull off, she gets away with it. It's because I give myself permission to. Just have more fun. But what would you do if you weren't fearing failure? Now we often look to social media. Now social media is quite contentious, and it's been discussed already. We can look with a sense of fear of keeping up, looking at what everybody else is doing. But I use it as a source of inspiration. I use it to find ideas or things that I can do to challenge my confidence. Now you can get stuck in the I can't mentality with the fear holding you back. But what if you stepped into the what if mentality? What if I tried the thing? What if I gave it a go? You'll never know if you can do it, or if you'll enjoy it, or if it might be something you're actually good at if you don't give it a go. So I've come up with a bit of a model, because I like a good model. And the thing that we can stay in is the comfort zone. We all know about the comfort zone. We're sitting in our lounge, staying very safe, playing small, but being happy potentially. Looking outwards, seeing what everybody else is doing and thinking, ooh, what if? What if I did that? What if? Oh, I can't do that. Who am I to do that? But to consider anything, we have to allow ourselves to be curious. Curiosity is essential for building confidence. And those who know me know I'm a very curious person. I ask a lot of questions, I do a lot of research, and I go down lots of rabbit holes, hence the title of my previous topic. But it's really about confidence. Now, to be curious is one thing. You can be well-read, you can research, but where confidence comes from is in action. Confidence is not handed to us. You don't join Rostrum and get given a badge of confidence and suddenly you're a confident speaker. We have to be curious enough and courageous enough to give it a go, to step out on that stage and say yes to the big idea that you're not really sure which big idea you're going to talk about. To say yes to those competitions, yes to that speaking. So be curious and find your courage to step out and give it a go. And that can apply to anything in life, because when you're courageous enough to do the thing, then you can work out what is it about the thing that you can learn from. Like I said, are you good at it? And you'll find that confidence from doing. You might find you're not very good at the thing, and that's okay. Because from that you're learning and you're finding your confidence in who you are. So I challenge you to get curious firstly and build your what if list. So last year I turned 50 and I decided I'd like a quest, and I like to frame it with guidelines and rules. So I created what I call my 50 quests, but really it's my what if quest. Some people might call it a bucket list. It's a quest of things I could do. Now some of the things are back of my mind. Some of the things I source. So I use social media to crowdsource. What kind of things would you like to do? So I would get the list and add them. I even created a form so people could submit them. And I also, like I said, take inspiration from social media to see what other people are doing. I love to see people doing crazy big things because I could potentially consider them. I haven't considered opera. So I may need to speak about where can I do opera? That's going to be on my list, so thank you for the inspiration. And in my typical fashion, I like a good model, and I like a good framework, and I like a plan. And when I do my planning each year, I create goals around all the domains of my life, which I've simplified them into 8. And I then use that to frame this list, to make sure it's spread evenly, so they're not just all adventure. because I love an adventure. And the ones that kind of stand out organically for me, just because of my personality, are the adventure. Now, under adventure, I classify anything that's creative, anything that's sort of travel, that sort of thing is adventure for me. I had to give it one word. Learning, I love learning. So that's sort of learning and professional development, growth. And health. So health is the fitness of well-being, because without that, we haven't got anything. So that's how I categorize all my lists. I also still have a subcategory under earth, wind, fire, and water, just to overcomplicate things. But you're welcome to choose either of those, but create a framework for your list. So find your inspiration, create a list, categorize it, if that's how you work. And then prioritize and work out which you're going to do first, which takes courage. So if you're going to take up opera, that takes a lot of courage in my mind. But if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. So have a system to put in your calendar, where are you going to go, there's a bit of research involved. So find the courage and commit to the action. But what I believe is that the more we get out of our comfort zone, the more confidence we build. And it's something that we keep on building, which is why we keep showing up to Rostrum, and why people like David Price show up after, how many years, David? 30?
45.
45, there you go, a lot. And this is why we keep coming back. And people that have been showing up for many years, that for me is inspiring, because we're constantly growing our confidence, we're constantly evolving, we're building our experience, and we're starting and we're learning again and again. So ask, how far are you prepared to go? So I thought I'd share some examples of how far I've been prepared to go to build my own confidence. And I'm still going, and I'm open to your ideas. So if you have any suggestions, please do share them. So I've said there's a fear of the unknown. Now, I'm not so much fearful of heights. I'm fearful of being splattered on the ground and dying, actually, more so. So jumping out of a perfectly good aeroplane, strapped to someone who's very capable, and I was thinking about the process. There was a lot of trust built. I trusted the organisation, I trusted the person, and I didn't even leap. We sort of just rolled out, if you've never done it, strapped to somebody who I trusted. But it was stepping into the unknown. I didn't know, I could see where I was going, but I didn't know how I was going to feel, and I didn't know how I was going to land. So it's a great metaphor for life. Fear of failure is another one. That's a big one for me, fearing of failure. Now, we can fail in many things, including speaking. I like to do physical challenges, so doing obstacle courses where you're climbing, crawling, going through mud. I could fail all these obstacles. But my rule for this particular part of the quest was to give everything a go. I'm sure I entertained people as I tried to climb things I just could not climb because I didn't have the upper body strength, but it was fun once I got out of my own way. So fearing failure can hold you back from doing these things. Maybe fearing injury, fearing embarrassment, all the things, but if you give it a go, you learn about yourself and what you're capable of, which translates into other parts of life. Now, another fear of failure, you might be thinking, speaking is, we fear speaking more than death, or some people do. Clearly we don't. But what's bigger than speaking? Stand-up comedy. Now, stand-up comedy for me was scary because you have to prepare. It's about the delivery. It's very intentional. You're looking for those laughs, which is challenging. So I thought I'd give that a crack. It was horrible. It was horrible. It was challenging. I didn't look like it was horrible when I watched it back, but it was a really good stretch for speaking because you learn the importance of timing, the importance of practice and preparation, which applies to speaking in general and other things in life. But when people don't laugh, you can let that go to heart, or you can let it bounce and learn from it. Now, another way of fearing failure, this was a very interesting challenge I took on. I like cycling, and I thought I also wanted to tick the altruism community box. Now, this lady here, she's visually impaired, and I've never ridden a tandem before, but I volunteered to ride a tandem with her to enable her to cycle. So to be a bit responsible, because they don't allow you to do it without any training, I went to the training to learn how to ride a tandem. And part of the training is you're blindfolded on the back of a tandem with somebody else. Now that's a bit scary. But what I loved about this was I could use something that I found easy, relatively, except the tandem part. But I really learned about communication, because when someone can't see, they're relying on you to explain things, to give them signposts. You need to work out what kind of notifications they need. Do they need to know about what's going on around them? Do they want to know there's a bump coming up? They need to know that we're leaning. Now, we did fall off, and I did, scrape my knee, and I was so apologetic because I felt like a failure. But she loved it. She said, yeah, let's get back on, let's go fast. She was very adventurous, very trusting, but it taught me a lot about trust and just enabling and helping someone. Doing triathlons, that's another way you could fail. These are all ways you can fail, by the way. I mean, if you want to fail, give it a go. So I did my first one, which was the shortest one possible, just to get in and try it. There are tutus involved. There's a tutu, I am there. It was a bit scary. I thought, can I do this? Can I run a kilometre? That's a long way for a non-runner. I'm swimming in the lake, there's things in the lake, not sharks, but things. And then, the cycle. But each year I've increased the distance, and this year I did my longest one. It's still not at Ironman level, but I'm building up, and I became one of their ambassadors, because I love encouraging other people to give things a go. I'm not fast. I certainly wasn't on the list of rankings. But what I realised from it is actually you're not about competing with anybody else. You're competing with your past self. You're building confidence for your future self. Another fear, or it could be a fear of failure, is I thought, well, I'd like to become a mermaid. I'm sure you've all had that thought, maybe. You can do it in Perth, but why would I do that when I can go to Sydney and get certified as a mermaid? So I'm now a certified mermaid. I could embarrass myself. I could, not be able to do the activities and pass. I could, swallow water and need someone to help me. But it was great. It was a great way to get over it, and it's something quite unique. Could I fail at doing cryotherapy? 3 minutes in minus 50 odd degrees. It's very cold. Could I fail at drumming? Now, drumming is much harder than it looks, or from my perspective, because you're doing 4 things at once, and then you've got the teacher talking to you saying, well done, Joe. And as soon as he said that, I would drop everything. I've got a long way to go. Fear of judgment. Dancing in public, singing in public, karaoke, worst nightmare. Dancing, doing a Bollywood dancing class, dancing with fire. Now, one of our members gave me some fire dancing lessons, not with fire though. And I went to a supervised class and didn't burn anybody or myself. Now, it wasn't dancing, it was waving fire around to music. Fear of judgment. Now, this is my biggest one, I think. When we're creative, there's a lot of judgment around our creativity in our head, letting people see our work when we're drawing. But what about if people are drawing you and you're naked in the middle of a room? Yeah, I did that. Fear of judgment. In your head, you're thinking about all the things. Oh, are they going to judge me? Am I going to know what to do? Is it going to be interesting? Am I going to get bored? How is it going to work? But what I learned is, no one's judging you. You're just a vessel for their artwork. It doesn't matter what it is. And they're actually not drawing you. It's not a reflection, it's an interpretation. So it's actually not you at all. So I challenge you to think about building confidence through being curious and finding courage, because if you ignite your curiosity, it'll displace those fears once you work through it. And when you take courageous action, you'll build your confidence, and who knows, you might attract opportunities. I could be a professional mermaid. I could be a life model. I could be a drummer in a band. I've got a long way to go, according to my drumming teacher. But you could do anything if you put your mind to it. So I challenge you to create your own quest of confidence.